Hi guys, today we're gonna learn how to download 3D object and use it in our views. It doesn't matter if it's an exterior view or an interior view. We're gonna download some furniture and work and popularize our views. So you can specify what type of furniture you're looking for in your search bar, but for us, we are just looking for a type of furniture because we're going to practice. So it really doesn't matter what type of furniture you're going to download first, but the step should be the same. So for us, I just type in furniture Rhino. You can type in furniture 3DM. That's the format of the file that Rhino saves. Um, the file you worked on. It really again doesn't matter. You can type in sofa, even sofa furniture right now, and look for a specific sofa if you know the brand or if you know which um, website has the best 3D objects. These are all really good website that comes up. There's no specific website that I'm gonna say like use for sure. It really something that you can look through them and see if you find something for free that you can use. I clicked on the website of Flying Architect, so that this is a good website because we can narrow it down to only looking at the free ones. There are many objects that or furniture that you can download. You can start categorizing it in a different way and look only for chairs, bed, or anything you're looking for. For today, we're just looking for something simple that we can add, and it's free. Don't buy things right away because there are many furniture that you can use and it's for free online. If in any case you couldn't find something, just make it your own because it's really not necessary to pay for these furniture. I'm going to download this sofa. Going to click on it. So these websites are very good because it's going to allow us to download the material and the object itself, so we can put the material on that surfaces, and we don't really need to create the material separately and then place them. So we're going to wait just a couple more minutes and then we're going to go start with looking at how to import this into our file and what to do next. I'm going to go over our download. So as you see, we have the file here. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes because it's going to pop up. Okay, so it automatically opened the file for me. That's a setting that I have. But if I go under download, I see that it's a zip file. And if I go into the zip file, I see I have all the material that I need and I have the Rhino file. But before I do that, I'm gonna first extract this. We gotta make sure that we extract the file. And after we extract the file, I'm going to copy that file itself and put it in my folder, a folder that I made, Rhino Cottage. And then within that, I'm going to place all my material and furniture that I download. Oops. I'm going to paste that and then delete this. This was accidentally I made this. Okay, so I paste this folder within this file that from now on, every furniture that I work on, I'm going to place it here within the file that I'm going to work. So Rhino can actually link all the images and the furniture through this file. Now within this, I have a Rhino file. I'm going to go in and look for the first steps and clean this file so I can import it into my cottage before I apply the material. You can also apply the material here and save this as a file that you can use for future references, or you can create your own library of material and furniture. From now on and later on, in a couple of years, you will have a really good library of objects. A lot of firms and architectural designers, they actually have their own library, and they don't go into these websites and look for materials and objects. They already have one and go through their own library, which helps and save a lot of time. So first thing we do, as we talked about previously, it's units. We're going to make sure that the units that we're working on are matches the file that we need our end result to be at. So I'm going to put it on feet and inches, and then I'm going to go 1/16. I'm going to hit yes. All right. I'm going to zoom into this file, and first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to measure something to see if this is a correct size, or is it too small, too large of an object or not. It doesn't need to be from edge to edge. We just need a rough measurement. So this is 6 feet 4, 13/16. Seems like this is a good size of length of a sofa that I need. So I don't need to rescale this. Now, second, I'm going to start ungrouping things. And you need to do this a couple of times so you get things at like separate ungroup and ungroup. Okay, so these seems like they're ungrouped. Every single object is an ungroup. Okay, now what I do usually when I look into the layer, seems like every single object has its own layer, which is nice. This was a really good file that we imported. Sometimes everything comes in one layer. So what you should do is that you place your object in different layer, and you can even categorize them by the material they're going to get. So if wood, place everything on wood layer. If it's a fabric, place all the fabric on one layer. This was a really good and clean file. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a block out of this. So I'm going to hit type block and pick a point. This is exactly the same steps that we were using or doing in CAD. Pick a block, and then I'm going to call this sofa. Okay. Now with my block sofa, I'm going to Control C and copy this in the clipboard. So Control C on the keyboard, and then I'm going to go to my cottage and I'm going to paste this, Control V. Now if I go in, I can see that all my layers within this file actually got imported, which is great. Now within the block, if I double click in on this, if I double click on this sofa, it's going to take me within this block, right? I can start selecting these different objects. Now I'm going to start adding my material to these objects. So first thing, it does allow me to pick a metal gold for the legs. I'm going to change the name of the material. Actually, I'm going to use the one metal format. And then I'm going to do metal gold. Now let's change the color. It's already in use. Okay. Okay, since I already have that material made, I'm going to use metal, and then I use gold, matte because I don't want it to be too polished. So I'm going to go into pick a color. I'm going to use gold. And then I'm going to reduce the polish of this gold. I don't need it to be like too reflective. So I just took off and reduced this number. Then I'm going to come in and work on the wood material. I already have a couple of wood made just because we were looking at the facade of this building, but just to make a new one, it's very simple. I'm going to go to custom, and under custom, I'm going to assign texture. Within this file, if I go into my folder that I made, Rhino Cottage, and then within this folder, I can see that this file itself came with the specific material, so I don't really need to look for a wood image and apply that into my work. I can simply come and click on the wood image, and under as I pick the wood, you can see that the under color the wood popped up and I can see my material. Second thing is best to just call in wood sofa and apply that to this. Okay. And then I'm going to do the fabric really quick. So again, custom, type fabric. I'm going to change, again, assign texture, fabric. I'm going to pick that and then hit OK. All right, something that I'm noticing is that as I change the material for these objects, I cannot see the difference. I cannot understand if they're actually getting the material. So what I do is that I'm going to go edit the block again. So double click on the block, and then I'm going to select one of these layers. So for example, I select everything on the sofa layer, on the fabric layer, and under properties, I'm going to go and see what's going on with this. And I can see the problem is that it's actually referencing a different material. So sometimes this happens, sometimes things are already made, and once you import an object into your file, Rhino cannot reference the actual material, so it's better to work on your own. So I did uncheck that box so I can be allowed to work on my own material. And here's the list of the material that I have in this file. So what I made is this fabric. So I can place the fabric file. So, and once I select it, you can see that the material start to change and look like a fabric. I'm going to do that for my wood. Sometimes you have to do this step, sometimes you don't. So it is good that this happens so we can walk through it. And I'm going to select the wood, go back in, uncheck so you can be allowed to work on the material, apply the material manually to this layer, go back in again. I'm going to look at the gold legs, select the object, select the objects, layer, uncheck this. This is already made for us, and this was in the file that we imported. Again, sometimes this happens, so uncheck this, go to the gold material you already made, and then you can see that these objects are good to go. We are going to use object. I totally forgot to add material to this. I'm going to select the fabric and hit OK. All right. Again, this didn't get checked in. I'm going to select that. go under material, uncheck this, find the fabric I was using, and we're good to go. Now, if I hit OK, I am going to look at this sofa and render it really quickly, just to see if I have everything correct. The material looks fine. Nothing is too big, too huge. This seems fine and looks nice. We have all the material that it's needed. The sofa looks good. It was modeled really well. So this is great. So now I am going to place this block within my interior. Now I am going into my interior view. So I'm going to look and zoom in within my interiors view. I'm going to pan. Right. This is a very, very tiny house. And as you can see, as we move around, we're going into the walls because the lens of our camera is actually looking in so close up. And we can change that into something that we can have like a wider lens so we can see things better and easier, and um, be allowed to work with the space a lot and make it look larger. But first thing, I'm going to re-render this to see everything looks fine within our interior, which seems like it's good. All right. It's just very dark because we need to add some more light inside of our cabin. But first thing, we're going to check the camera. We're going to set the camera to a view that we need to have. This is the same step as we have looked at. I'm going to look, maybe it's best actually to look through the window. We don't have that many window here, so the one that I already made, it's better. I'm going to rotate my sofa and place it this way and then enter the building the other way. So we're actually looking at a nice window here. Now, again, what can I do with the lens? First, I'm going to check the view. So this is fine. I'm going to save the view and then edit this view. So I'm going to save this view as interior, hit OK. Now, within this view, I'm going to change the lens. So I'm going to go to the view property, and the lens itself is like 50 millimeter, which is not a wide lens. So I'm going to remove that and change that to 30. And as you can see, when I change the lens to be that zoomed in, now I can see some more space. Now I can focus and have a better view. If you change that to, for example, 25, your house looks a lot larger. And this is just the way that the lens of the camera is working. Now, I think I'm happy with this view, and I'm gonna go in and save it. Okay, I'm saving it over. Now, remember we talked about making sure that your sides of your view are actually straight on. This is something that it's good to remember. So do that same step that we used to do. Change the target to one thing, and you can save that view over. Since we covered that, I'm not going to go over it again, but we're going to re-render this and see how it looks like within the interior. And this is something I was scared of because we were seeing stuff, but and nothing pops up in our render. And that means that I'm actually very, very close to a wall. So I was kind of looking at things, but I was within a wall. If I render this, my camera was actually in the wall. So I'm gonna save this over, but the best way to avoid this is type camera and show. Now, if I go to my top view, the camera itself pops up, and I can see that in my 3D view, anything that I move in here, the camera itself changes. You see? So I want to be close to the wall. This is good. See? Now, I am not within a wall anymore. You can even go to the elevation view, use the gumball, go up and down, or you can move the camera itself. Now, this is a easier way to adjust things. Now, I'm going to save this again. Double check because I think I accidentally moved. I am not within a wall. Now, render. Oops, I accidentally clicked on one. It's top view. So this might happen once in a while. So make sure that your view is active and Render knows which view to render. I accidentally had the top view selected. So now you can see that the light is coming into our view. This is very nice. We see the sofa, the view looks fine. So I am going to add some more light and change the sun for this view. So we know in our view, this is towards south. So let's put it in a lower daytime so we get more light inside. And if I go lower, I get more light inside. Let's see if I render this. How does it look like? You can play with the light, with the sun from coming into your view, but we also need to add some more lighting inside. So I don't really need the render to finish up. I already think that this is a nice, great view. I am going into the top view, and under the light, we do have a couple of options that we can add, which is really nice. You can add a surface light, a direct light, a point light. For us, we just want to like have a global light within this whole interior. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add a rectangular light. And by that, I mean, I'm going to come in and actually create a rectangle. I'm going to make sure the project is on. Rectangle, and I'm going to add a rectangular light here. Now, again, make sure things are on correct layer. We don't have a light layer, so I'm going to create a layer and place this light onto that layer. Now, second thing is that I'm going to make sure that the light itself is at the correct place. So I'm going to move it. Everything was on the ground. I'm going to move it up. You can also just move it up. You don't need to use the gumball. The direction of the light is going to show up with an arrow. As you can see, the arrow itself is pointing down. This is what we want. Sometimes if it's not, you can flip the light so it projects up. We don't need that. I'm going to flip it back. So I'm going to use the command called flip. And then I'm going to go back inside. Okay. Now it seems like everything it looks a lot brighter within this. But something else that we have to make sure is that the intensity in the light itself when it renders, it doesn't show up. So what we do is that we go under our light tab. We're going to look at um, then the file itself, it looks like it's bright, so maybe we can put it down a little bit. Seems like this is better now, and then I'm gonna go in and render this. Now, as you can see, everything becomes brighter inside. We do get nice shadow within. But again, if you change the lens, if you change the output of your image that we have already talked about, things become a lot better. Please, please, please don't change the lens to like 18 or 20. That becomes very distorted. So please, please, just keep it within 35 to 25 for the interior, and then within 35 to 55 for the exterior views. You can start adding more furniture, add more specific lighting, and we don't have the um, fireplace modeled here. Please also model that and start applying material to inside and outside of your building. And the other thing that I like to mention, you can also import landscaping for your exterior and model those as well. Keep in mind, keep saving, and thank you so much for watching these videos.